Hello everyone, my name is John.
My name is Alejandro.
My name is Max.
And today our presentation is gonna be over SOPs, or Standard Operating Procedures, Analysis and Writing. So standard operating procedures are an important part of almost every workplace, especially manufacturing, healthcare, laboratories, construction, and chemical processing. And they provide employees with clear instructions for completing tasks safely, efficiently, and consistently. SOPs are more than just written instructions. They're valuable tools that help organizations maintain quality, improve communications, reduce workplace accidents, and ensure everyone performs tasks the same way. And by following a well-written SOP, employees know exactly what is expected of them and what can complete their work with confidence. All right. So first we'll start off with what is an SOP? A standard operating procedure is a detailed document that explains how to perform a specific task from beginning to end. It includes step-by-step instructions, safety requirements, equipment needed, and any important information that employees must know before starting the task. And the main purpose of an SOP is to create consistency in the workplace. Whenever an employee follows the same procedure, the work is completed correctly regardless of whoever performs it in the plant. And this reduces confusion and helps maintain high quality products and services. And for example, if a company has like 10 employees operating the same machine, each employee should perform the job exactly the same way by following an SOP. And this helps prevent mistakes and ensures the equipment is used safely, and make sure you get a consistent product and work output. And now we'll go over why SOPs are important. And there are many reasons as to why SOPs are important in the workplace. First, they improve safety. Many jobs involve hazardous equipment, chemicals, electricity, or moving machinery that may catch you. SOPs include safety precautions to help people to help employees avoid injuries and accidents. And workers know that personal protective equipment or PPE they need to wear, and what hazards to watch for before beginning a job. And second, SOPs improve efficiency. And instead of asking supervisors a question every time they need to complete a task, employees can just follow the written procedure instead of having to constantly hound someone else to make sure that they're still on track. This saves time and makes sure things are operating smoothly without just putting in unnecessary cuts in time of the day. And SOPs also improve quality. And so since everyone is following the same instructions, the products come out more consistently, and are more likely to meet the company's standard for the product. And this reduces stuff like defects, waste, and complaints from customers, which is probably the most important part. And I guess finally, SOPs make training a lot easier for new employees. They can learn the procedures more quickly, and because they have a detailed guide instead of maybe just given some sort of loose instructions, they'll have something for every step of the process to help them.
The main parts of an SOP. Every well-written SOP contains several important sections. The first section is the title, which identifies the procedures. Next is the purpose, which helps explain why the procedures exist and what is designed, or what it is designed to accomplish. The scope describes what the procedures applies and which employees are responsible for following it. After important sections, list the materials, equipment, and tools required to complete the task. The SOP should also include safety precautions. This section identifies hazards required, PPEs, emergency procedures, and any warnings to employees need. or any warnings that employees need to know. The most important section is the step-by-step procedure. This instruction should be written in the exact order that the task should be completed. The language should be simple and clear and easy to understand. Finally, many SOPs include documentation requirements, revision dates, and approval signatures to ensure the document stays current and accurate. How to write an effective SOP. Writing an effective SOP requires planning and careful attention to detail. The first step is to analyze the task. That means observing how the work is actually performed and identifying steps involved. Next, information is gathered from experienced employees, supervisors, and equipment manuals and safety regulations. Once enough information has been collected, the procedures is written in using a clear and direct language, and each step should begin with an action word such as simple, inspect, remove, verify, or record. After the first draft is complete, it should be reviewed by supervisors and experienced workers to ensure it is accurate. The procedure should also be tested by having someone follow instructions exactly as written. If any steps are confusing or missing, the SOP should be revised. Finally, employees should be trained on the new procedures and the documents should be updated whenever the equipment, technology, or safety requirements change. Example of an SOP. Let's take a look at an example of an SOP. Imagine a maintenance technician needs to replace a chemical pump filter. The SOP should first instruct the technician to put on the required PPE, including the safety glasses, gloves, and protective clothing. Next, the technician would perform a lockout-tagout procedure to disconnect all the energy sources and prevent the equipment from starting unexpectedly. The technician would then relieve any pressure remaining from the system before removing the oil filter. After installing the new filter, they would inspect all the connections and restart the equipment, check for leaks, and monitor the system to ensure it is operating properly. Finally, the technician would complete the required maintenance documentation so the repair procedures for the future references. Following each of these steps helps protect both employees and the equipment.
I'm gonna go over the common SOP writing mistakes. Even though SOPs are very helpful, they can cause problems if they are poorly written. One common mistake is using vague language. Instructions such as be careful or check the machine do not clearly explain what employees should actually do. Another mistake is leaving out important safety information. Missing PPE requirements or emergency procedures can increase the risk of workplace injuries. Some SOPs are written with technical language that is difficult for new employees to understand. Good SOPs use simple, straightforward language whenever possible. Another issue is failing to update procedures after equipment or processes change. Employees may unknowingly follow outdated instructions, which can lead to mistakes or safety hazards. Finally, poor organization can make an SOP difficult to follow. Instructions should always appear in the correct sequence so employees can complete tasks without confusion. Benefits of good SOP writing. When SOPs are written well, everyone benefits. Employees know exactly what is expected of them and can complete their work with confidence. Supervisors spend less time correcting mistakes and answering repetitive questions. Companies experience fewer accidents, better product quality, and improved productivity. Customers also benefit because products and services remain constant and reliable. In many industries, well-written SOPs also help organizations meet legal and regulatory requirements while demonstrating a strong commitment to workplace safety. And in conclusion, standard operating procedures are essential documents that help organizations perform work safely, efficiently, and consistently. They provide clear instructions, improve communication, reduce errors, and protect both employees and equipment. Writing a good SOP requires careful planning, accurate information, simple language, and regular updates to ensure the procedure remains effective, whether the task involves operating machinery, performing maintenance, or handling chemicals. Following a well-written SOP helps ensure that every job is completed correctly the first time. Thank you for your time and attention, and I hope this presentation has helped you better understand the importance of safe standard operating procedure, analysis, and writing, and why clear documentation is one of the most valuable tools for creating a safe and productive workplace.